From the dunes to the boardwalk to the bright sand beach, Belmar, New Jersey is the epitome of Atlantic Coast charm. This weekend, the AVP Crocs Tour returns to the Jersey Shore. After falling in the first final of the year, Sean Scott and Lucena look to get back on their feet in Belmar. They face the team of Matt Olson and Kevin Wong, who after being on the verge all year, enter their first final as a team. The AVP Crocs Tour touches down in Belmar next.
Sunshine never felt so good. Oh, and it's only getting better. We get around, 'cause now we're living the dream. We are living our dream, living our dream. We are living our dream, living our dream.
Most of the year, Belmar, New Jersey is a sleepy little seaside town with a year-round population of 7,000. But in summertime, it swells to 10 times that many. Welcome to the AVP Crocs Tour. It's the Belmar Open presented by Bud Light. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Watson filling in for Chris Keeter McGee. Welcome to the Jersey Shore. We knew this would be an interesting tournament because Todd Rogers and Phil Dahlhauser, the dominant team on the tour, they're not here. They're concentrating on Olympic qualifying in Europe. So after 3 days of slugging it out on the sand, who did we end up with? Well, two of the top three seeds. The number one seed, Matt Olson and Kevin Wong, their first season together, 3/3, no wins yet. Lucena, Sean Scott, 3 Final Fours. Their high water mark came in the opening week of the season. They were second in Miami. Joined now by my partner and the best player in the history of the game, it's Karch Karai. You know all these guys. We got some new blood in the final. This is a lot of fun. How do you see it?
It's really exciting. Two big things about these teams. Number one, they're both new for the season of 2008, but more importantly, and shockingly, because they're all such great players, none of them has won since at least 2005. So for one of these teams, it's going to be a mammoth day today.
A good opportunity. Some new faces in the final. An old friend down on the sand. Let's check in with St. John Smith.
Sean Scott, you're going to play against your good buddy Kevin Wong. What's that going to be like?
It's going to be a lot of fun, you know. We're good friends. We grew up in Hawaii, went to school together, you know, played together, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Now, what are you going to have to do to beat him, though?
Not let him block us.
That's it?
No, he's got great ball control for a guy who's 6'7", 6'8", so we're going to try to get him in trouble. You know, he's a great blocker, moves his hands really well. So, you know, we got our work cut out for us.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
The crowd of Belmar all fired up for this one. We had some weather concerns early on. Those are long gone. The wind has picked up. So is the temperature, just under 90 degrees on a natural beach. No sand brought in for this one. And Karch, this sand is a little bit deeper. What kind of problems does that pose for these guys?
Well, the teams that are in better shape are going to be stronger at the end, having to endure the harder work of playing in deep sand, which is not that common on this tour anymore.
I talked with Matt Olson about 45 minutes before the match. I said, give me the key to this thing. He said, we got to serve tough. We got to play good defense. And then he said, really, the whole key is Kevin Wong. He put it all on his partner.
Well, Kevin Wong has had he had a great year in 2007, another great year in 2008. Brought his blocking up by almost 20% over last year's numbers, almost 2 blocks a game, and he's been a real force for this team.
Kevin Wong retreating from the net, got both hands up. Sean Scott down the line, the first point of the match.
Sean Scott taking the first point.
Lucena, of course, played with Phil Dahlhauser earlier in his career. And they beat you, Karch, you and Lambo, Mike Lambert, right?
In the course of winning that tournament, yes, they did.
That was back in 2005 in the Texas Heat in Austin. Their only title together. Just inside the back line.
Got to be frustrating for Lucena. He was on that ball, but thought it was going out, let it go.
Kevin Wong, 35 years of age, from Honolulu. Played collegiately at UCLA, and his best attribute, he's 6'7". That'll help out, especially in this deep sand. He's the block. Cross court. Good look there. Lucena.
And Lucena taking that one back, put it away. 2-1.
Sean Scott went to the University of Hawaii, but before that he went to Punahou and actually played on the same high school team as Kevin Wong just for one season. And yeah, they did win the state championship. It's kind of a no-brainer over there. That was a pretty good team. I think Stein Metzger was also on that team.
And Mike Lambert, they were quite a force. A lot of great players coming out of Punahou.
And of course, Punahou has been in the news lately. Sports Illustrated recently named them the best high school athletic program in the United States.
And Waddy, there you're seeing one of the special qualities of Sean Scott as a blocker. He can recognize almost before anybody else that a player is going to shoot it, do it the soft shot, and hang and swat back like he did there.
Wong with a little bump set, a bit tight on the net, a joust. It looked like Scott got the better of it. Corner and a great get. Nick Lucena, good effort. And the best rally early on in this match. And no cover there. Kept alive by Scott. But he had no help. Lucena was on his chest behind him. And it looks like Scott is asking for a lift. He didn't like it.
He certainly didn't. But one of the interesting things, Matt Olson was talking about it earlier, the first player he played on this tour with was Jimmy Nichols, who was a master at covering those shots coming off the block, and he learned it from him, and Matt Olson just did it 3 times on this play. Always ready for the block to bring the ball back or direct the ball back toward him or his partner.
Lucena and Scott with an early 4-2 lead. We play 3 games. Got to win by 2. First 2 to 21. The last, if we go that far, to 15. Nice tip. Cross court on the cutty. Sean Scott with a point. We'll change sides on 5-2. Time now for our Nautica.com Navigate the Match, and we check in once again with St. John Smith.
Well, I'm going to tell you about Matt and Kevin and what they have to do. Matt, great defensive player, but I think the key is Kevin Wong at the net. He's got a sneaky late block, and he gets a lot of people in trouble. Karch, what do Nick and Sean have to do?
Well, they really have to keep their errors down, and that's been a focus for them all since they made the first final in Miami. Been a little less consistent since then.
Matt Olson was right up against Sean Scott. Looked like he caught a piece of the tape. Kevin Wong with a bomb cross court, and a long way to go, and this one will carry into the crowd. Point for Wong Olson.
Especially when the ball goes up high like that, Waddy, it gets blown more by the wind, and you could see it that as it went higher and higher, it went right into the stands there.
Yeah, this wind is whipping now. About 2 hours ago, it was almost dead on the court, and just the flags were standing at attention. But now it's really picked up.
And so there is definitely a pronounced side advantage to our screen. The left side is the downwind side. That's the one that you can actually swing at harder and serve harder into. So more points should be scored by the team on that down left side.
Kevin Wong to serve. Played on a couple of NCAA championship teams at UCLA, 93 and 95. Set from underneath the net back out to Scott.
Line point, Sean Scott.
Catches the line.
6-3.
Really nice play by Lucena here to try to, he saves that ball without hitting the net. His thumbs are just millimeters away. Nicely done by Lucena.
Sean Scott to serve. Got his first career title at the Tempe Open with Todd Rogers back in 2004. Kevin Wong tips over the block. Cover was there by Lucena, but he couldn't keep it off the beach.
Well, one of the treats that we're going to enjoy today, Waddy, is just 2 of the very fastest players on defense. Lucena's nicknamed the Greyhound, and Matt Olson is leading the tour in digs per game, almost 6 digs per game, so they'll be getting a lot of those shots up.
Olson and Wong, 4-6. 4 serving 6. And a good block there by Kevin Wong. Overpass, and Wong just stuffs it. The 6-7 had 2 hands on it. But somehow Scott and Lucena stay with it and win the point.
And they return Matt Olson's favor, covering themselves off the block. This is a great play by Sean Scott. All he did was poke it high and hope it would come back. His partner would be ready. And there, Lucena also keeps it alive. That's what we call coverage, hitter coverage, when the ball comes back off the block to your own side, you're ready for it.
Matt Olson cross court and out. No touch.
Hit it hard, it goes wide.
Nick Lucena, who grew up a soccer player, went to Florida State, never played volleyball in college, finally teamed up with Phil Dahlhauser, and they played a couple of small tours on the East, and they both found their futures right here on the beach. Olson right into the block. Sean Scott and out. We were talking earlier with Nick Lucena. Lucena's playing with an injured hand. On his hitting hand, he injured this hand during training, and he's got 9 stitches. And I said, well, 9, how big is that? He said, actually, it was pretty big. They spread them out, and it's a concern.
Especially when you have a sport where you can get so infected or get the injury all filled with sand like that.
Well, and he's just going to be pounding on it all day long, too. That is a stuff by Kevin Wong. He just slammed the door in his face. All 6'7", he pumps his fist and gets the crowd into it.
Well, Kevin, you can see here he lures Sean Scott into hitting that angle shot by taking a quick step one way and then reaching across with the other. Perfect form.
Olson and Wong a couple points in a row to draw within 2. It is 8-6. The 2008 AVP Belmar Open is brought to you by Crocs. Play hard, live comfortably. By Bud Light, keeps it coming. And as always, the AVP reminds you to vive responsibly. An enthusiastic crowd along the Jersey Shore. The AVP Crocs Tour Belmar Open presented by Bud Light. Jim Watson, Karch Karai, and down on the beach, St. John Smith with Kevin Wong.
Hey, Kevin, is that a special treat blocking your good buddy right there?
Shawnee, we get each other all the time, and I just want to get the last one. That's the important one.
All right, now what else are you going to have to do? These guys are playing really well at the beginning here.
They're playing really well. There's a high energy. I think the crowd's into it. We got to get the crowd behind us and take care of the wind. The wind is probably the windiest we've faced all week long.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thanks, St. John.
Yeah, St. John's right. These guys are buddies, Sean Scott and Kevin Wong, separated by a net. But next week, Wong told me he's going over to Scott's house for a barbecue. But, you know, you've been on this tour a long time. A lot of these guys are friends. There's so much crossover. You change partners, get to know each other pretty well.
And, in fact, Scott and Wong have played several tournaments together, some overseas.
Wong, good effort to cover that one. Goes back to the net.
So when you play together or play on the tour as long as those two have, the chances are more likely than not that you've played with somebody across the net at some point there. This, again, the wind is a factor here. If this were on the other side of the net, Wong would have controlled that better, but the wind was blowing it away from him, away from the net, as it blows from right to left on your screen.
Sean Scott to serve, leading 9-6. And Sean Scott had a very successful run with Todd Rogers, who's now considered the best defensive player on the beach. Sent it from about 6 feet off. Wong backed up, nice cover there. And right into the block and down. Good effort. Sean Scott came up and stuffed it.
He says no.
And that's the risk of being good friends, is you know your friend's favorite shots. This time, Kevin Wong trying to sneak it down the line, but Scott was all over that. You could see both hands there waiting to try to redirect the ball from his left back into the middle of the court.
Wong with a nice bump set right there and left it wide open down the line.
One of the things,
too far to go.
One of the things you'll notice about Olson and Wong is how low they set Matt Olson. He likes a really low set, and that's going to help them in this wind. The lower you keep the ball, the less the ball will travel away from where you want to go.
Is that a normal preference? Is that because of the weather right now?
No, that is actually normal for Olson Wong.
Right there. Olson right at the feet of Lucena. And here comes Olson Wong now. They're starting to feel it. They drop back and then they close the gap again, down 2.
Watch how late Olson gets. He's not in your screen until the very last second when he touches the ball and then finishes with authority. Both he and Lucena can do that all day long. Both of them can concentrate on the off season on getting into better shape so they can do that right through the end of the tournament.
Scott against Wong with cross court. Olson was there. Olson catches the tape and a chance now. Lucena right into the face. Matt Olson. This weekend in Belmar, we gave Nick Lucena a video camera, and we let the Greyhound off his leash and onto the Jersey Shore. Here's a look at what he brought back.
How you doing? I'm Nick Lucena. I'm substituting for the Casey Jennings on his Casey cam. Right now we're sitting in Belmar, New Jersey, getting ready for our first round match. Right there is my partner Sean Scott, getting warmed up. Checking the FIVB results, checking up on Rachel, Tyra. As you know, Rachel is Sean's wife. See him? Rachel, he hasn't seen her for a month. He's lost without her. Look at him. She's not there, bud. She's not there. It's been acting weird. Come back soon, Rach. Look at him. Pathetic.
By the way, Sean's wife, Rachel Wacholder, and her partner, Tyra Turner, took a second overseas in Paris, keeping their Olympic dreams alive. Line! You heard Kevin Wong call it out, go line. Olson does as his partner says. You'll hear either line or angle. Scott against Wong. You heard line, he went cross court. Wouldn't have mattered, it was well out anyway. And now it is a 1-point game. Lucena and Scott 11-10.
It was just on Monday that Wong and Olson learned they were the #1 seed. Their wives found out, and some family friends actually decided, well, we got to go see our guys. It's the #1 seed, for the first time #1 seed. So they took a private jet out here, landed 5 minutes away. Now they're ready to travel like that everywhere they go.
I was in a middle seat for 7 hours. What happened there?
You and I both.
Got to get a phone number. Sean Scott against Wong at the net. Just pounce it into the open space in the back. And again, every time that Olson and Wong get close, it seems like Lucena and Scott have an answer. Sean Scott to serve, the most improved player on the tour back in 2005, and he was the '99 Rookie of the Year. I was talking with Kevin Wong about that. We talked about how guys get better and get into their prime in their late 20s and early 30s. Heck, you played into your 40s. Trade youth for wisdom. Matt Olson pounds it down.
Well, and Kevin Wong's such a player. After a couple of years of maybe not playing Kevin Wong volleyball, he came back so strong last year, and by the middle of the year, I think a lot of guys were ready to split their MVP vote between him and Phil Dahlhauser. That's how well he's been playing 07-08.
Yeah, 13th year for Kevin Wong, and look at him still reaching back, getting that with a fist bump. And now he's got to play some defense. He drops off the net. Olson. Matt Olson, a miss hit, and it looked like maybe the wind played a little havoc with it. Maybe Olson took his eye off.
You were exactly right. The wind, that set was higher from Kevin Wong, and when it goes high, gets to its apex, it's going to blow around a lot more. First of all, Kevin Wong turning off the net so well there, keeping it alive. But when he puts that set up higher, it has a tendency to blow around more. Olson couldn't even get it over the net.
Lucena and Scott holding on to that lead like a terrier in their teeth. Just every time that Olson and Wong try to pull close, the answer comes. Welcome back to Belmar. This weekend, the best beach party on the Jersey Shore. The morning clouds have passed, bringing back the sun and the smiles. Kevin Wong, Matt Olson, Nick Lucena, and Sean Scott have danced into the final. This year, the AVP Tour is all about the Crocs Cup. It's kind of the March Madness of beach volleyball, and here's how it works. Points accumulated for the first 13 events. Beginning in Cincinnati, we start eliminating teams, and after San Francisco, only 8 teams will remain. September 19th through the 21st, it's off to Manhattan Beach, where we'll have the world's largest qualifier for seeds 9 through 16. Anybody can play their way in. It's a pretty exciting new format with $1 million on the line. Time now for a Bud Light tournament recap. Former partners Hans Stolfus and Ty Loomis squared off in round 2 of the contenders bracket. Stolfus and Loomis' partners had a pretty successful run the last 2 years, highlighted by a second-place finish at last year's Pan Am Games in Brazil. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Stolfus flat-out dumped Ty via text just a few days before the Atlanta Open, leaving Loomis without a partner in his hometown, of all places. Well, the volleyball gods presented Ty an opportunity to exact his revenge, and he did just that, knocking Stolfus out of the tourney.
I think I wanted to punch him for about a week and a half. Pretty hard. But we're friends. That's what happens on the AVP. You switch partners all the time.
From one fired-up contestant to another, Anthony Medell and Fred Souza versus Matt Olson and Kevin Wong in the quarters. And check it out, the big Brazilian, a little upset over a controversial touch call.
No way! No way! Yes, get the car! I don't care! Nice, baby! Come on, give me the car! What?
Come on now, there's kids around. Medell and Souza would go on to win the match, but eventually fall to finalist Lucena Scott in the semis to take third. Living legend Loyola and partner Pedro took fifth, while Loomis and Witt finished seventh. Kevin Wong now to serve into a very stiff breeze. I guess this breeze is like 25 miles an hour right now. He's got good cover there, Matt Olson, rolling all the way across court, but couldn't do much with it once he got there.
Got himself into the right position, but it actually ended up behind him a little. He was expecting it to go more toward the line. There you can see the flags and how hard that breeze is blowing. Important for Wong and Olson to stay within one here.
Yeah, it's just the fine-tuning, the adjustments now. Guys are in position, but the ball's riding up on their forearms just a bit. There's Olson. Lucena.
And Lucena also a little frustrated. He's getting him most of the work of being a good defender is putting yourself in the right spot.
We talked with Sean Scott before the match. He told us that Nick Lucena can get a little emotional. He's a fiery guy, and he kind of wears it on his sleeve. But he said, you know, he doesn't try to take him out of it and come back with an ace.
Wow, shocker. That's the easier serve, but basically what it was, confusion between Scott and Lucena. You would think Scott would take more of that middle because Lucena's receiving most of the serves.
In doubles tennis, they call that the husband-wife, right? Yours?
Yep.
Everybody stands around. Good block by Wong, and now they have some momentum. Wong and Olson have gone in front.
You know, something doesn't go quite right when the player breaks out his left hand to play the ball. Sean Scott, the ball just blew a little outside, had to play it with his left.
And Olson going to work right away. No hesitation on the service line. Sean Scott against Wong. Deflected it, but wide. We're tied at 19. Played at 21, win by 2.
But it had been a long time since Wong and Olson had scored any points off of their serve. Now they want to try and protect that lead and earn themselves their first game point here.
Playing on the good side. A good short serve. Gets him off balance. Olson right into the hands of Lucena. Plays it overhand. And that set curves. Joust. And Wong, the stronger and the taller of those two players, just shoves it right back at Lucena.
Boy, you can see Lucena so frustrated. He has a great dig and a chance to score the point here, but the set goes too close.
Crowd comes to their feet on game point. Kevin Wong going to soak it all in, catch his breath, wipe the brow just a little bit, go to work. Wong to block. Go over the block on a cutty. Olson. Lucena, nice read. Lucena and Wong together, and there's Wong again. Another overset. They're going to get him reaching across, and that'll be a point, not the game, and we're even at 20.
Wow, what a smart play by Lucena. He pulls his hand away. Wong thinks it's going to be there, and Wong had nothing to resist against. His arms go straight into the net. Boy, bad break for Wong. Great play by Lucena.
So it looked like the game might have been over, and now we're right back to zeros. Now somebody's got to win 2 in a row. Crowd remains on their feet. Sean Scott serves Wong.
Right there, line.
Those two team up at the net. Lucena got a big piece of it, but it too sails up into that breeze, and the jet stream carries it back into the crowd.
I don't think Lucena's going to miss many more of those. He's too good a digger. Number 4 on the tour, digs per game. He's going to start coming up with those, but will he in game 1? We don't know.
Olson and Wong again serving for the game. Sean Scott to keep it alive, goes into the net. Never got across point. Olson and Wong. Wong might have intimidated him just a bit. He short-armed it. And that is game 1. So Olson and Wong, who were chasing most of that game, eventually caught Lucena and Scott at 19. And they win it 22-20. Beautiful day on the Jersey Shore, Belmar, New Jersey. Some pretty good waves. Game one went to Olson and Wong, and for Matt Olson, his first win in a final. Let's go down to St. John.
Hey, Matty, you were down at the end and you came back to take it. It's nice to get that first one, isn't it?
Very nice. First final, it's my first win in a final, so I couldn't be happier right now. Yeah.
Now, all that work in the off-season paid off, huh?
Yes, sir. We put in a lot of time, and we knew it was going to come down to these finals, and here we are. We're ready to go.
Okay, so what do you got to do this next game?
Clean up my side-out game a little bit, transition some of those digs, and I think we're there.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Matt Olson grew up in San Diego as a pro surfer, played in college at Arizona. This is his second final ever. A good crowd on hand. The weather has improved, although the wind is really snapping. Game one goes to Wong and Olson, 22-20 over Scott and Lucena. Nick Lucena and Sean Scott, of course, like most partners, they room together on the road. And I asked Lucena what kind of roommate is Sean Scott. He said he's the best kind. He never talks, and I own him on video games.
Nick owns pretty much everybody on video games except his former partner, Phil Dahlhauser, the one partner he's won a tournament with in Austin 3 years ago.
Olson just talked to St. John Smith about his first win in a final. He was all pumped up about it, getting game one 22-20, and he opens game two with a point.
Well, yeah, he made a final last year in Hermosa Beach with Jason Ring, but played the team of Dahlhauser and Rogers, lost in 2 games, but looking for a win this time in the final.
That time Olson is left standing flat-footed. When I asked him about his game, he said the most important part he learned this year was defense, and he learned it from his partner, Kevin Wong. And then I asked Kevin Wong about it. He said he learned that from you. So.
Well, it's certainly important to try to explode after every ball, and that's what a lot of their training is focusing on, getting that great first step.
Sounded an easy cover there on Wong. Didn't have much on that cross court. And again, Olson is left empty-handed in the back row.
And this is the partnership that Nick Lucena wanted. He felt like to get over the hump, as he does here, he wanted to play with a guy with more experience, a guy who knows how to win, and feels like he's learning a lot about confidence and playing patiently with Sean Scott this year.
Wong had a gather. He lost his feet there for just a second. Comes back, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Not a kid anymore, so when you lose in athleticism, you gain in wisdom, and he just tips that ball to the open spot.
That's why very few serves go Kevin Wong's way, because he sees the opposing defense so well, and he can get to drop those soft shots down into the open areas.
He's just one of those chill Hawaiians, man. He doesn't get too excited about anything. Backs off the net that time. Sean Scott buries it inside the back line.
On the line.
Wong talked about it. He said he had a couple of down years. He was working so much on his house in the off season, the 05 and 06 or 04 and 05 seasons, and playing online poker to pay for it at night, that he didn't get much off season training, but he's, look at that.
Oh, nice tip.
Right.
Just paints that back corner.
But really got his game back to being one of the very best players on the tour the last 2 seasons, spending the time he needs to in the off season to be ready.
Scott off the net that time, so he had his option. He passes Wong. Lucena and Scott 4-3 in game 2, but they're down a game. Wong and Olson won the opener 22-20.
Scott was talking about it earlier. He got married in the off season to Rachel Walkholder, who is also over playing in Europe, and they're texting back and forth, but it's been tough on both of them being apart for 2 6-week stretches so far this year. They're both excited for her to get back and talking about starting a family.
Cutty there by Wong, cross court. Looked like it caught just a piece of the line, but nope. And it's 5-3, Lucena and Scott.
And Wong just missing there. There is such a fine line between winning and losing. You have to keep those errors to a minimum to expect to win anywhere on this tour.
Another one of the nuances there from savvy veteran Kevin Wong, just tooling Sean Scott off the block. This game's starting to look like the first game with Lucena and Scott leading out of the blocks here. Olson and Wong just tracking them. That one hits the tape, never touched by Wong. He waves his hands, shows the up official. No touch.
And this is now Lucena returns the favor with the unforced error. Both these teams, that's a big focus of theirs. If they want to get to more finals, you cannot give up 3 points to the other team.
I asked Kevin Wong about his old buddy Sean Scott, what makes him so tough, and he said, you know, he's a poker player on the court. He uses that head a lot. He said, brings these Jedi mind tricks in, and he always gets you thinking, and then you're wondering what's he thinking, and you forget how to play. Get a little locked up, a little stage fright in the final.
Well, last year, some people were scratching their heads because Sean Scott hooked up with Matt Furbringer and played the defensive role, looking to extend his career by trying to play more defense. And a lot of people are like, why would he want to do that? He's one of the best blockers on tour, which he really is.
Right there. Stays in the air a long time, covers himself. Lucena. And Scott now bumps it across, and it hits the line. Oh, that was fortunate, wasn't it? A little bit lucky sometimes.
Surprised neither Wong nor Olson makes a move for that ball. But yes, Sean Scott with a lot of talent at the net, blocking heat. He seems to read those hitters better than anybody. Nice up by Wong there. Here's where the confusion comes in. Sean Scott just trying to keep it alive. Wong thinks Olson has it, and vice versa.
Olson to set Wong. Goes down the line. Lucena onto his chest. That ball up into the breeze again and carries right into the block of Wong. Best rally so far of game 2. Olson backs up, cross-court cutting, all the line. So what's good for one side is also good for the other. Use it all, 8 by 8.
Well, we've seen Lucena have a few chances. Here's another great up by him. But Sean Scott's trying to be a little too perfect with those sets. And when it gets that close against a big blocker like Wong, it's not going to happen. He keeps it alive there. And then Matt Olson making the great adjustment. Look at how he has to jump backwards, and he still gets it over and in.
Matty Olson with a cross-court pokey just inside the line brings us level at 7 in game 2. Last November, AVP stars Jen Boss and Jake Gibb traveled to the Dominican Republic with Crocs as part of their Souls United initiative. Souls United is a first-of-its-kind recycled footwear donation program where people give back their worn-out Crocs to be recycled into new shoes that are then donated to people in need around the world.
Kids are just, they're so amazing, and the looks on their faces, just even right now before we've given them anything, is just, it's priceless. There's definitely hope. You could see it in those kids' eyes. They just got really excited about that pair of shoes.
It was perfect. Just coming across, you're like, okay, this is the place we need to be. These are kids that need the shoes.
Partnered with Crocs is like the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of. I would do this again in a heartbeat.
That is nice work by Jen and Jake, and a tip of the cap to Crocs for giving back. Learn more at soulsunited.org. Game 2 in Belmar now, tied at 11, and Sean Scott set to serve. Wong against Scott. Scott got just a piece of it. Talking about guys playing deep into their career. St. John Smith, you certainly did that. You piled up a lot of big numbers. You believe what we're talking about? As you get older, you also get better?
Well, yeah, in some parts of your game. In other parts, you get worse, like jumping. You know, the key to playing into old age is having an unbelievable partner. You got to have a great partner, somebody who can block the ball and you know, set you really well and basically carry you.
Oh, it always helps to have a good partner. You got one up here and one down there. You guys are both covering me today. Wong. He had to adjust. That ball was moving around on the net. He could never get that block set. You can see him shaking his head. Thought he should have got more of it. Tied at 12. Just knock it up into that breeze. Let it blow into the back corner. Wong against Scott. Cuddy, Lucena, a little late.
Well, that's a good play by Lucena to change the rhythm. You can see Olson barely got that set off, and Wong gets the fake pokey up there and then with the cut shot, but they barely got that side out. That was a nice serve by Lucena. Putting it up high like that changes the whole rhythm. It slows down Wong's approach. He can't run in as fast, jump as high, jump as hard.
It's funny, a lot of stops on the tour. You got to bring in tons of sand onto the beach to build it up. It's got to be about 12 inches deep, but not here, a natural beach. And all four of these guys told me before the match they love it. They like the natural beach. Got a little bounce to it. There's Scott going quickly, and Olson again. He's done that twice in this match, and then he wins the point just like last time.
Wow. What a play by Matt Olson. Thought for sure Sean Scott would put that second one down. Great combination. Great defenders have to read and play the soft shot, but then, just like here, control the hard hit too. Earns himself another chance for the point.
Remember, he told us he thought defense was his most improved asset, and he's proven it a couple of times today. Sean Scott comes right back, pounds it into the open sound. 14-13. It'll be 13 serving 14 here with Sean Scott.
And you were talking about the deep sand. I think a lot of these teams enjoyed the previous stop in Hermosa Beach, getting into that sand where good conditioning will pay off.
Wong, a little top spin, but right at Lucena, and now Lucena a chance to put it away, but goes right into the teeth of the defense. Kevin Wong with the rejection. The 6'7" Kevin Wong. When I asked Matt Olson what is Kevin Wong's best attribute, he said, dude, he's 6'7". And ain't brain surgery out here. Well, Wong and Olson bagged their first ever beach title. We'll find out when we come back to Belmar. Packed house, spending the day at the beach in beautiful Belmar, New Jersey. And time now for a nod at AVP history with our Cuervo flashback. And we're going all the way back to June of '94 in Boulder, Colorado. The pink hat was in his prime. Karch Karai and Kent Steffes in the final against Ricky Ludes and Brent Frohoff. And Karch and Kent tightened the defense to take another title together. 2 years later, they would team up to win the first Olympic gold medal in Atlanta. And history will repeat itself for the first leg of the Crocs Cup Slam 4th of July weekend. We go back to the Rockies for the Boulder Open. AVP Crocs Tour, the Belmar Open, Belmar Beach, New Jersey, the Jersey Shore. And the weather continues to change. Sun going in and out of the clouds. The wind is the only thing that's been consistent today, along with a high level of play. Kevin Wong, Matt Olson, Nick Lucena, Sean Scott. Wong and Olson won game one, 22-20. They lead 15-13 here in game two. That is Sean Scott. And Matt Olson on the cover. Here's Olson offensively cross court. Nick Lucena, good angle on him. Scott with the block. Rises up again. Olson tried to go to the back corner, and Lucena got there, but you know, when he bumped it, Karch, it looked like the wind just pushed it back anyway.
It really did. The wind was totally working in Olson and Wong's favor on that play, including the shot right into the corner. Again, both teams covering off the block so well, but this one, Lucena just can't get there as it blew over his head.
Kevin Wong serving 16-13. Sean Scott, and the block by Wong is right there. Boy, he is an intimidating presence, and he just seems to hang in the air.
And he's 4 points away from winning for the first time since 2004 with recently retired Eric Fonoy-Moana, one of Fonoy's last wins. Matt Olson never having won, playing a great tournament here in Belmar.
That was just into the net. Lucena never got up. Of course, Eric Fonoy-Moana team with Dane Bland to win the gold in Sydney in 2000. That unforced error now gives Olson Wong a 5-point bulge, and they can see the finish line from here. The side change, though, gives them a moment now just to let it all soak in, closing in on their first ever beach title together. And it could be a big weekend. Remember, a couple of dudes playing their first season on the same side of the net. Wong said he learned a lot playing with Karch last year, and then he held tryouts on the beach in Hawaii to find a new partner, and he found the right fit with Matt Olson. Wong and Olson just 3 points away, and Olson couldn't cover that one. By the way, we want to pass on congratulations, Karch. You told me that you had a little business on the way out to New Jersey in Chicago. It was pretty good business. inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Another award. Just throw it on the pile, huh?
Well, an incredible honor, and I accept it as an honor on behalf of our sport. Very few team sport athletes have ever gotten in there. Volleyball, one of the first, along with David Robinson for basketball. And it's just a great statement for the success of the great Olympic teams that I've been able to be a part of.
Both indoor and out. Wong had to get back off the deck, and look at the old guy on his back, and he's just soaking it up.
Another hubby-wife play here. Wong with the presence of mind to put it between, what an up by him there, and putting it between players. He cannot, Sean Scott and Lucena cannot come up with that. Wong is known for his great net play, but you saw how quick he can be. He'll work out just as hard as Matt Olson on some of those sprints and explosive side-to-side movements, and it paid off for Wong there.
Olson and Wong just 2 points away. Now their lead is down to 4 at 19-15.
Well, Sean Scott's got to make something happen here. He has one more serve before they have to switch sides. Try to get off a tough jump serve here. Maybe get to within 3 and keep themselves alive.
You know, it just seems like Scott and Lucena just have never really gotten their rhythm today. And a lot of that, of course, because of the block of Kevin Wong and the defense of Matt Olson. But they've just been frustrated. Kevin Wong, top spin into the back corner, and it will be championship point.
You're right. If you'd have watched them in the semis, it's a different team because it's a different opponent. Olson on the verge of his first career victory.
And he talked about it after winning game 1 with Sinjin down on the sand. He pointed out right away, and what a good feeling it was. You stand here at Stadium Court. Belmar's on their feet. They're ready to cash the big check. Olson steps back. They have a word. And Wong to serve for the game and the match. Lucena caught the tape, no touch, and that's it. Olson and Wong win it at Belmar. Kevin Wong beats his old Punahou High School teammate and longtime friend Sean Scott. Olson Wong, their first ever title. Weeks of tryouts in Hawaii, months of training in San Diego, and it all pays off in Belmar. We'll hear from the champs after the break. The 2008 AVP Belmar Open is brought to you by Crocs. Play hard, live comfortably. By Bud Light, keeps it coming. And by Gatorade. Is it in you? Time now for our Crocs Fancy Footwork Play of the Day. Matt Olson and Kevin Wong just too tough today in Belmar, staying in rhythm on offense and covering line to line on defense. Check out Wong, go get it. For Kevin Wong, the 35-year-old from Honolulu, his 9th career win, his first since '04. But Belmar will always be special for Matt Olson because you always remember your first. Sinjin Smith is on the beach with the champs.
I'm down in the sand for our Gatorade Champions interview with our winners, Kevin Wong and Matt Olson. Kevin Wong, you've been working really hard. You haven't won in a little while. You finally won. What does it feel like?
Feels pretty damn good, man. To play with a guy like Matty, such a good guy, such a hard worker, win together in a big event like this, it felt really good.
Okay, Matt Olson, your first victory. Holy smokes, you got to be stoked.
Yeah, I don't even know yet. So stoked. I can't thank my partner enough. He keeps working with me. We put in a lot of hard work, and I'm so happy to be here. I don't even know yet. So stoked.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Sinjin, and congratulations to Kevin Wong and Matt Olson, our 2008 Belmar champions. For all things volleyball, log on to avp.com. That's it from the Jersey Shore. For my partner, Karch Karai, I'm Jim Watson. We'll see you in Boulder.